Hey, this is Neil's Han Dynasty coming to you live from the Han basement of the Empire of Han, for which I am Neil, or Niels of the Han Dynasty, along with my minions of kitty cats that keep everything in line and rats away. We come to you with a new report of another thing that's going to be a nail in the coffin for BRICS, and also a good thing for Africa, and another business opportunity long term for investment, in my personal opinion. And it's only an opinion, it's not advice, financial advice, or any of this other stuff. Be kind, helpful, and grateful because it's better than being a jerk. Buy some silver, some platinum, definitely get some platinum, and look into crystallized osmium. If you want increased growth, rarity, new, and it's precious, the eighth precious metal, check out Ian from Arch Silver and Gold and Osmium. He's got some. He's the only distributor of crystal osmium in America. But that's not what this is about. This is about Africa, taking GDP away from South Africa and BRICS. Another nail in the coffin for BRICS. Here we go. Let's see what the Africans have to say about it. Let's see. This is from the New African Channel about an hour ago. President of Ghana demands Africa's foreign exchange reserve return from abroad. That's very good for them.
In a resolute address on the sidelines of the 37th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of the Heads of State and Government of the African Union, held from February 17th to February 18th, 2024, Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo put forth a radical proposal urging his colleagues to make a collective decision to withdraw 30% of all African countries' foreign reserves and deposit them in African financial institutions like the African Development Bank and Afreximbank. According to Akufo-Addo, this transfer of a chunk of Africa's foreign reserves back to the continent is necessary because the global financial architecture does not work in Africa's favor, but rather is designed to keep it in poverty.
To that extent, I'm proposing a decision for the plenary, is how we can contribute to the reform of the global financial architecture. We're all in agreement that the way the global financial architecture works at the moment, it doesn't work in our favor, and that there is a need to make some fundamental systemic reforms. But making the reforms also requires that we also take some steps that will assist us to have a greater impact in the way in which our economies are financed. And an important consideration that I want all of us to think about is that as it stands, virtually all our countries, we hold our reserves in foreign banks, attracting largely negative rates of interest. The proposal that I'm going to put to the plenary and I want to share with you, so it will form part of our discussions this morning, is that we should take a decision that a minimum of 30% of the reserves of each one of us, sovereign reserves, should in fact be invested in the African multilateral institutions. I speak about the ADB, I speak of Afreximbank, which would strengthen their balance sheets and strengthen their capacity also to facilitate more and more resources for our development. It's a relatively radical proposal. There's several aspects of it, of course, that we will have to, if we accept the proposal, we'll have to agree on a mechanism for monitoring how these monies are going to be used, for ensuring that we get proper accountability. All of these things are necessary. But the fundamental fact that if we find a way where we can increase the financial power of our own institutions, we're in a better place to finance our development. Already we've seen the tremendous work that the ADB and the Afro-Exim Bank have made, especially during this critical period of the COVID pandemic and the COVID difficulties. Afro-Exim Bank stood up, stood very tall to help us mobilize funds to buy vaccines, to do all the same with the ADB. So these institutions are institutions which are ours and which we can trust. So if we can find a way of strengthening them, we strengthen ourselves. And that is the proposal that I want to put before the plenary. But I want to share those proposals with you first. That we make a decision that 30% of our sovereign reserves that we're now holding in foreign banks, we will in fact invest them in our own financial institutions, the ADB and the Africa.
So is a
Okay, well, that's enough of this report. Just to let you know, South Africa is part of the G20 because they supposedly represent the whole continent of Africa. And that's why one of many reasons why they are in BRICS, because they are considered all of Africa's GDP, and that gets thrown in BRICS. And that's a confusing factor for investors who hear these things about the GDP of BRICS is so great. Yeah, when you hear these reports that I just bring you, yeah, the GDP of Africa is going to be growing. But South Africa is not going to be in control of all of these new and upcoming countries because they don't like the direction South Africa is going. They're looking at South Africa going, wow, you guys are going bankrupt. You have no power for half the day. You can't keep your streets clean, and your government officials are stealing everything. We don't want you to represent us. And South Africa's gone, and so is the GDP of BRICS, African Union. So don't put too much on BRICS. I know all these people are selling you on it, but they don't see the geopolitical. They see the numbers. Yes, the GDP as of today of BRICS is awesome. What's it going to be tomorrow? That's why I bring you these reports, because it's not going to be awesome. It will be awesome tomorrow, but a couple tomorrows down the line, and these individual countries, 56 of them, minus South Africa to make 57, that are on the continent of Africa, are all going to want their own sovereignty, and they aren't going to want to have, they don't want to have to serve another master that's not their own. So why would all 56 of the 57 countries want to be part of the BRICS system? And they're sick of the dollar system. They're looking at the BRICS system going, okay, what? So we're going to chain ourselves to them now? Nah. Let's bring 30% of all our reserves back and we'll start our own financial system since we're the ones growing and we're the ones with the GDP. You can expect that to happen because that's just financially feasible and economically sound for them to do. And what that does is it leaves BRICS GDP in the dust. And then India leaves it. Then China goes bankrupt. And Brazil, who, by the way, is having civil war right now or something like that. They're totally overthrowing their government. No one's reporting it. And all these other big BRICS countries all start walking away because, well, let's see, Brazil's changing their government, which is going to push them away. India's going to have their own world reserve currency. That's going to push them away. China's going to go bankrupt and get into war. That's going to push them away. South Africa is not going to have control of the African continent the way they do now. That's going to push them away. That only leaves Russia. So it's not going to be BRICS. It's going to be, you're going to sound like a seal. I'm telling you, people, don't put too much into this GDP crap. It changes if you watch geopolitical instead of charts. Because these gentlemen are coming to you with charts. They're saying, oh, this number's big, this number's big, this number's big. Yeah, that's on a piece of paper. What's happened in reality? All those numbers belong to those countries, and they're fixing to bail. And if you keep up with political stuff, you'll realize this. And you'll see the great opportunity to not be part of BRICS, but to be investing in these individual countries in Africa that are wanting to succeed. So if they have the actual want to succeed, the means to do it, and the ability to do it, that means they probably will. So why wouldn't you invest in it? Because their success would be your success. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. It just seems like kind of stupid crazy not to. You guys have a nice Sunday.